why is this still so black, I suppose? Okay, so I got 5 things that I want to talk about. I'll quickly list them out and then you can timestamp and go to the section that you want. So the first one is keto. Number 2 is I sleep a lot. Number 3, I don't smoke or drink. Number 4, zen/stress. I don't have kids. And then number 5, happy state of mind. I don't know, I guess it's just how things turned out. Not really personal preference. I mean, I suppose I could take up smoking in my 30s, but that's kind of weird. I feel like that's kind of late. I feel like most people quit in their 30s. Isn't it cooler to smoke when you're young? Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. So today's minimalism video, I feel like is part of minimalism because I think the core of minimalism is health. So I had a subscriber ask me, how do I still have black hair in my 30s? And I think that's a fabulous question. I did reply to the comment, but I thought I'd share it with you guys because my channel is all about helping my Cobra babies, and obviously, full disclaimer, I do think a big part is genetics. So if it's genetics, then there's really not much we can do about it. But there are things we can do about it. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 things I feel is part of that. And take what you will and take what you won't. Another disclaimer, this video is not trying to be ageist. This is just answering the question. If a subscriber asked it and if it could help somebody else out, then I will help somebody else out. But I think that gray hair, silver hair is a blessing and a privilege because it means you're aging and still not dead. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's get it. Let's go. So I want to make another disclaimer before we start again. I guess I should show you guys what my hair looks like. So there's like full transparency. I do get gray hairs. I did mention the reason I had gone blonde in the first place was because I started getting gray hairs. So I don't want to come off in this video like I'm in my 30s. I'm not going to disclaim my age. My OG subscribers can actually calculate my age based on the times I have mentioned it in the year and the stamp. But I don't know. I'm at an age where I actually watched a podcast that said that you actually become unhealthy the more you mention your age. It's like a psychological factor. So I figured if I look ageless, I will be healthy. So I'm actually not going to mention my age. I'm just going to say I'm in my mid-30s. I know the tips are coming up, but yeah, full disclaimer, I do get gray hairs. I'll get like 1 or 2 and like I just pluck them. That's personal preference. I know not everybody agrees with that. I know there's a lot of narratives out there. You shouldn't pluck hair, blah, blah, blah. Do I dye it? I haven't dyed it black yet, but I did dye it blonde because I felt like I'll give that a try. I know a lot of people go blonde when their hair starts turning gray, so that's why I did that. But anyway, in terms of like all of this growth here, this is in the past year. Why is this still so black, I suppose? Okay, so I got 5 things that I want to talk about. I'll quickly list them out and then you can timestamp and go to the section that you want. So the first one is keto. Number 2 is I sleep a lot. Number 3, I don't smoke or drink. Number 4, zen/stress. I don't have kids. And then number 5, happy state of mind. So yeah, let's get into the first one. Okay, so number 1, keto. So I have been fully transparent that I am very keto based. I'm not like super hardcore keto the way that I was in previous years during my extreme minimalism where I was very like, I would say like 100%, 90% keto. I would say that I have a mostly 80% keto based diet. And if you're wondering what does that have to do with black hair? So actually one of the things that I had read when I was younger that people had mentioned as one of the side effects of keto, not that it matters, but it's just something that I still remember to this day, was apparently people noticed they started having less gray hair as they like went longer in their keto journey. One of the things that I saw that people mentioned in their keto journey was that they noticed that their gray hair became less. And I thought that was kind of cool because it wasn't talking about black hair being prevented, like, oh, I'm keto, I barely get black hair. It was like they had gray hair and they started having less gray hair. So like, whoa, that is cool. I'm no scientist. I don't have access to the like report or whatever. This is just something that is like personal antidote. So take it as you will. I just thought I'd share that. So that's why I have that theory. For those of you who are wondering what ketogenic means, keto stands for, ketogenic. So it's like having low carbohydrates or few carbohydrates. Things that are included in that is like not eating fruits, grains, carbohydrates, both complex and simple. I know a lot of people sometimes have an opinion about that. I guess I'm very like keto strict. I don't really eat like quinoa. A lot of people are like, is that keto? Is that not keto? Some people argue rice is or is not. There's a lot of nuances. I keep it to like vegetables is also one of those things. Like a true purely keto diet is also no veggies, that's pretty strict. So I guess in that sense, I pretty much just don't eat bread and pastries. I think that's the best way to sum up the keto that I follow. Practical speaking, I just eat like veggies, and like I eat like meats and protein, like red beef, but that's because of religious reasons, not out of personal preference. Like, I love beef. There's nothing wrong with beef, but yeah, I want to put this back on. I consume a low dairy diet. Since we're talking about diet in this, I don't really consume a lot of milk. I made the switch over to almond milk a couple of years back just for health reasons. I found that I would get like a lot of acne on dairy, so that was just like a personal preference of mine. Not saying that drinking milk, not drinking milk has anything to do with black hair. I don't think so, but I think it's just worth mentioning if anyone was curious. Like, knowledge is power. Okay, coming in at number 2, sleep a lot. So because of the nature of running a business and that my working hours are later in the evening, I work in the evening. Like, when people get off their 9 to 5 is when I start. Having opposite hours lets me sleep in, so I can sleep as much as I feel I need. I mean, obviously there are times where I'm a little bit more stricter with myself. I do wake myself up around like 8 or 9 and I like do what I need to do in the morning. But mornings are my time. So that means that I also have the privilege of giving myself extra sleep, which I know is not possible for many traditional 9 to 5 type of jobs. Like, you have to be up and you need to be going. And if you do want the extra sleep, then usually you need to like sleep earlier, but I know that not everyone does that. I do know that a lot of people do run on little sleep. So in terms of like how many hours of sleep I get, yeah, I get like easily 9 hours of sleep. I know the recommended is between like 7 to 8. I know a lot of adults get less than that, get on average 6, but I'm on the higher end. I definitely do get a lot more sleep. I never feel sleep deprived. So, not bragging, just full disclosure, I do sleep a lot. I sleep in on the weekends and I sleep in during the week. That's just the privilege of my lifestyle, that my work is in the evening as opposed to in the mornings. Like, when everyone's off at 5, that's when my work starts. Okay, number 3, don't smoke, don't drink. I don't smoke and I don't drink. I never have. How did that happen? I don't know. I guess as a millennial, there's this really big push, this really big narrative that smoking is like really bad for you. Like, smoking kills. Like, I was under the impression like if I even smoked like one cigarette, like I would die. So yeah, I never smoked anything. So like I never smoked cigarettes. I never did vapes. I've never done weed. I don't know what else you could smoke, but anything that involves like a smoke, even candles for that matter. Like, I don't breathe candles either, because I feel like that's in the realm of smoke, right? Because like it emits like smoke, right? So yeah, anything that is smoke, I don't smoke. I don't know, I guess it's just how things turned out. Not really personal preference. I mean, I suppose I could take up smoking in my 30s, but that's kind of weird. I feel like that's kind of late. I feel like most people quit in their 30s. Isn't it cooler to smoke when you're younger? I don't know, that would be just really sad. So I never had the habit, and it is an expensive habit, to be honest. That's actually one of the other reasons why I never took up smoking. I just thought about all the money I could spend on other things other than smoking. And I'm really vain. I didn't want my teeth to get yellow, so I was like, I'm not going to smoke for vain reasons, not even health reasons. Like, we all die, like, who cares? Smoke if you want to. I didn't smoke not because I wanted to die, but just because it's expensive and I didn't want to have yellow teeth. Okay, the other thing about drinking. So yeah, I guess drinking is just something that never came into my life either. My dad is really big against like not drinking. So yeah, I just grew up with no alcohol in the house, and so it was also one of those things that was kind of like a little treat. The only time I ever drank was like if I went clubbing, but as somebody who's studying to go to med school, I never partied in my youth. I have mentioned this in videos. Between always studying and having parents that don't drink, and not to mention like we didn't really have the money for drinking, so yeah, drinking never happened, and so I just never developed the habit of drinking, and so I have like no tolerance for alcohol. I've slowly now in my disposable income era kind of now can kind of taste that wine kind of tastes nice, but like I think I have like not even 1 cup in the year. I would say between the mini sips that I get at the like Amex lounge, I think it adds up to a cup a year. That's how little I drink. Not for any health reasons, just because just like I'm very Asian in the sense that like if I want to drink something after a meal, it wouldn't be wine, it would be like milk tea. That's how I seal a meal. So yeah, I guess that could also be part of it. Never really picked up the habit of having like a glass of red wine with a meal, even though there's like supposedly good health benefits. So yeah, so I never drink. So that might be another part of it. I heard like drinking is also like not really good for your skin, but like if I like to drink, I would drink. I wouldn't really care about that. Okay, number 4. So Zen, stress, and no kids. So I feel like I put those two together. Not that they're exclusive, not that you cannot practice Zen or be stress free without kids, but I thought I would just, put that out there. I don't think that children are stress-free. So that's one thing. That's one caveat that I want to mention. I don't have children. How much of that plays into all of this from both like a lifestyle and also from like a health perspective, I'm not too sure. In Chinese culture, there's this ideology that if you have children, to create a child, it drains the mother of a lot of nutrients. From Western medicine, we do have evidence for this. Like, you will be like more calcium deficient when you have your first child. So in terms of like biology, never having had a child might be correlated with still having black hair. In terms of the lifestyle, like let's say I adopted and I had a child, I'm not stressed taking care of a child. Like, I'm not worried for the well-being of another individual, which I think can be very stressful because caregiving, child rearing is primarily the female's responsibility. So I'm not worried, is my kid getting their homework done? I'm not worried, how are they doing in school? Like, I'm not worried, are they eating enough? I'm not worried. All the things that come with raising a child, I don't have any of those stressors. So for me, my own stressors are my own personal finance goals and personal well-being, but like, I'm an adult, so those things I feel like it's not the same. Like, taking care of yourself as an adult is nowhere near as it is for caring for a small child. So I feel like I put those two things together. Another thing that's in this tier is Zen. So I do meditate a lot. For those of you who have watched my own personal vlogs, for those of you who are like really into like my life, I do meditate a lot. I practice Zazen, which is like sitting Zen, and then I also practice moving Zen, which is like another faction of Zen, which is like you find Zen in the daily mundane. So this is like washing dishes, vacuuming. You find Zen in that. So I do practice Zen like literally every day. So I think that helps lower my stress levels because I do enter into like the void, into the nothing through Zen, so that I'm not carrying my stress with me. So that could be related to that as well. And then the fifth one is a happy mindset. So I think that those two things are actually different. I was really miserable when I was practicing Zen a couple of years back. Like, in my extreme minimalism, I would practice Zen and my void was a horrible place to go because what was in my head was just like absolute trash. Like, I had like the most negative thoughts. I thought very pessimistically of the future, and Zen was like, I relied more on Zen then than I do now. Now that like I'm happier and I chose to be in my abundance era, I'm a lot happier. My mind, the quality of my thoughts, my happy thoughts are a lot more vibrant, that I don't need to rely on Zen as much as I did when I was really like depressed. When I was like, oh my God, like the world sucks. I had to enter Zen for 10 minutes at least, like every day. It was pretty bad. But now, like, with the happiness that I feel, like just choosing to be happy, like there's really no reason for me to like say, oh, one reason for another and one for another. There really isn't, other than like, I literally decided that like, why don't I just be happy? Or why don't I try to be happy? Like, I almost felt like I didn't have the right to be happy. Like, well, how could I, like, how selfish to choose to be happy? But I decided to be happy. And I think that has really helped with slowing down the aging process. I don't think I look particularly young. Like, I don't have a young face. Like, my whole life I've always had like an old face. People have been telling me I look 27 since I was like 14. So I think I've just kind of grown into my face. So I look old, but I am old. So the two of them come together. But I feel young. It's weird. When I was young, I felt like an old soul. And maybe that's why I look the way that I did. And now that I'm older, I feel very young. Like, I feel very youthful. I feel very free. I feel very empowered. I feel very like life is going how I want it to, and like I've designed my life to mirror as close to my ideal life. Like, when I think about my ideal life, I hit a lot of those parameters already. So that feeling of like where I want to be and where I'm at is really small. They're really close. And so that gives me a deep sense of happiness, which I think could be related to the black hair. I don't know. It's just like, it's really easy to be happy with life when life is how you wish it was, and it actually is. I remember when my life was so different from what I wish that it was, and oh my God, there was so much deep-rooted unhappiness in that state of mind. But now that they're like a lot similar, I'm a lot more happier. Was that by accident? Oh no, none of it was by accident. It was grind after grind after grind. So I'm really glad that I documented a lot of it on my YouTube channel. Otherwise, I don't think you guys would believe me, but you guys have seen me in my like darkest times crying on camera, to where I am now, where I'm like genuinely very happy. So I also think that happiness plays a role into that, because there is no like tretinoin for your hair, so that might be something part of it. Do I take vitamins? Yeah, I take like women's complex. I don't know if anyone wondered, do I take that? Yeah, I do. So that's probably part of the biology. So yeah, I really hope this could have helped somebody else out, just kind of given somebody food for thought. Maybe you might consider cutting some of these things out in your life, or maybe you think all of this is bullshit and it's just purely genetics, in which case, yeah, it might all just be genetics. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.